Morning, grade 4. It's great to see you again. No preamble, let's jump straight into the maths for today. As I always do at the start of the lesson, a quick reminder, you're going to want to email me, grade4@worksheetcloud.com. I'm Mr. T or Mr. Travis. If you email me, I'll get it. After the lesson, click on the link above, do the worksheet, make sure that you've understood what it is that we're doing today, or that you've at least you practiced what it is that we're doing today. As per normal, the next sheet will be your mental arithmetic today for the day. 10 questions. Today we're just looking for the answer for each one. You don't need to write down the questions, just the answer. I'll give you 40 seconds. That's 4 seconds per problem. And your time starts now. Halfway. Time's up. Number 1, 7 minus 4 is 3. Number 2, 16 minus 4 is 12. 5 minus 5 is 0. 15 minus 13 is 2. 14 minus 13 is 1. 15 minus 5 is 10. 7 minus 6 is 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. 14 minus 10 is 4. And 13 minus 8 is 5. If you missed any of those, just rewind, watch it again, and you can mark it. Right, so we finished with the 4 basic operations. That's plus, minus, times, and divide, or addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So today we're just going to do some word problems that use those basic operations. We're not going to do anything complex, just one of the operations for each of the problem, but I know that word problems tends to be the thing that trips up more people than any other area in maths. So whatever area you're doing, when it gets to word problems, it becomes more complicated. And I suppose it's just because we're trying to get the maths out of the words. And actually, probably it's the most important thing that you do in maths, because after you've finished school, most of the maths that you do will come to you in real life, in sentences, looking at things, and we need to be able to take the numbers out of that. It's not like you go to the shop and it nice and neatly lays out everything in a mathematical formula for you. You have to do all of those sorts of things yourself. Okay, so goals for the lesson: to be aware that word problems require 3 things: a number sentence, your workings or your working out, and an answer sentence. And if your teacher's anything like me, you'll get a mark for each of those different things. And some of those marks are quite easy to get, so you don't want to miss out on those. Then to be able to take the numbers out of the words, that's what what word problems are all about. And then we're going to do some practice with some basic word problems. Okay, so with the word problem, you have to have a number sentence, your workings, and an answer sentence for every single word problem. I've got 8 problems here. I'm going to read through them all 8, and then we'll jump across to the whiteboard. I've already copied them to the whiteboard, but let's go through them, just so you've got a taste of what's coming. There are 46 Smarties in a box. If Miguel buys 11 boxes, how many Smarties will he have? Juliet has 120 pencils in her art collection. She gives 35 to her brother Zander. How many pencils does she have left? There are 47 boys and 48 girls in grade 4. How many children are there altogether? Melissa spent 8 hours doing chores at home. Her parents gave her 152 Rand. How much was she earning for each hour of work? Chris has 17 books. Sia has 12 times as many. How many books does Sia have? The Stormers have played 124 rugby matches in the last 6 years. Jacques and his dad have missed 45 of them. How many games have they been to? Alessia, Emma, Holly, and Ava went strawberry picking. Alessia picked 58, Emma 97, Holly 76, and Ava got loads, 124. How many strawberries did they pick all together? 6 friends did a food collection drive. Together they collected 126 cans. If they each collected the same number, how many cans did they each collect? Okay, so that's the 8 problems. Let's jump across the whiteboard and start to take the maths out of the sentences. All right, so I'll leave myself in the corner. We have the Smarty question. So we've got 46 Smarties in a box, and Miguel buys 11 boxes. So I'll start off by just underlining in that what the numbers are. So 46 Smarties in a box, and we have 11 boxes. So if there are 11 in each, if there are 11 boxes, then there'll be 46 in each of those. So I suppose we could add 46 plus 46 plus 46 11 times, but that seems like a really long way to go about it. So what I think we should do is 46, and we're going to multiply that by how many boxes there are, and that will give us how many there are altogether. So this is in fact the first thing that you get a mark for when you do your maths, and that's to do your number sentence. That's what a number sentence is. It's where you write down what it is that you have to do using numbers. At the moment, we just leave an equal sign there. Some of your teachers might put a box like that. Later on in school, they'll use a letter there, but don't worry about that. That's still a way off. Okay, so that's the first thing you get a mark for. Let's now do the workings. So if I've got 46 times 11, I'm going to use my multiplication that we've learned. I'm going to go with the column method, or the smiley multiplication. So I'm going to set everything out before I even start. If this is not familiar with you, you should probably go and do the multiplication lesson before you do this one. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 times 1, which is 6. Then I'm going to go 1 times 4, or 4 times 1, which is 4. In my second line, I'm going to go 1 times 6, which is 6, and 1 times 4, which is 4. And now finally, I'm going to add them together to get my answer. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10, carry the 1. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So she has Miguel has 506 Smarties altogether. So that's the second mark for writing that down. Some of your teachers might ask you to now put this answer up here. So they might ask you to write 506. I don't. For me, the number sentence is fine without the answer, because your answer is at the bottom, and it now comes into the third mark, which is the number sentence. And that is Miguel has 506 Smarties. And that is the third mark. So in fact, simply for taking the number that you got as your answer and putting it into an answer sentence, there's a whole extra mark for that. And sometimes, even if you've got the wrong answer here, so let's say you accidentally got 505 and you wrote 505 there, your teacher might still give you the mark because you did put it in a number sentence. In my class, I do that. I put a bracket around the mark. So I tell you that that's not the right answer, but you have done the right thing by putting it into an answer sentence. Yeah, so that's something to look out for. Let's take out the incorrect answer. Okay, I think I haven't left myself enough space, so I'm going to have to move everything down a bit. There we go. And move my screen up a bit. Here's the second question. Juliet, she's my niece, and Zander, her brother, is my nephew. Juliet has 120 pencils in her art collection. She gives 35 to her brother Zander. How many pencils does she have left? Okay, so she started off with 120, and then she gave away. So giving away is the same as minus. So she gave away 35, and then we want to find out how many she has left. So we have already earned a mark just by doing that. Let's now do our subtraction. So although I can do this in my head and you'd be okay doing it in your head, I'm going to go ahead and show my workings using the column subtraction that we practiced. So first I'm going to try and go 0 minus 5, which I can't do. So I'm going to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. Next I'm going to try and go 1 minus 3, which I can't do. So I have to borrow. 11 minus 3 is 8. 0 minus 0 is still 0. I'm not going to put that. So my answer is in fact 85. And the final step is to put that into a number sentence. So Juliet has 85 pencils left. And you've got a mark for the right answer and a mark for your number sentence. Okay, oops. We're going to have to move down to look at the next one. All right, there are 47 boys and 48 girls in the class, or in grade 4. How many children altogether? Well, that one is quite a straightforward one. It's a plus one. So 47 girls plus 48 boys. So altogether, that's how we work it out. We're going to add them together. So I'm going to use the column method again. So, oops, put in my second line. 7 plus 8 is 15. Mental arithmetic, people. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 9. Also mental arithmetic. There's my second mark for getting the answer. And my third mark for writing the number sentence. There are 95 children all together. And that's my third mark. All right, we're going at a good pace. Let's look at the story about Chris and Sia. Right, Chris and Sia. Chris has 17 books. Sia has 12 times as many. So that's actually giving us this clue, 12 times. So we're actually looking at a multiplication problem. So this is question number 4. So 17 times by 12 equals, there's our first mark. Writing it down in the multiplication way. And sorry, let's just put it all in. So first up, 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1 is 3. I've finished with that run, I'm going to cross them out. 1 times 7 is 7, 1 times 1 is 1. Now I've got to add them together. 4, 10, carry the 1, and 2. So, lucky Sia has 204 books. Oh, I love reading. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I hope you do too. But if you don't, it's okay. Don't force yourself. And don't tell the English teachers I said that. All right, there's your other 2 marks. Okay, I'm sort of bunching these all up at the bottom now, and I seem to have messed them out of order because this one should have been the next one. Okay, so now we've got a question about the Stormers. How many of you are rugby fans? How many of you are missing the fact that we don't have rugby at the moment because of lockdown? Right, the Stormers have played 124 rugby matches in the last 6 years. Jacques and his dad have missed 45 of them. So they've been to a lot, but they haven't gone to 45. So how many have they gone to? Well, if we find out how many they haven't gone to, we can work out how many they have. I do want to point out there is something in here, and this does come up every now and again. We've got a number in here, the 6, and that has nothing to do with what we're calculating. So sometimes numbers come up in the work that you actually don't have to use for your calculations, and the 6 there is one of them. So if I look at the maths, I think we're on number 5 now, we have 124 altogether, and Jacques and his dad have missed 45. So we're going to get rid of the 45 that they missed to find out how many they saw. That's the maths. There's nothing there at all that uses the 6 years. Right? So watch out for that sometimes there are numbers that you won't use. Most of the time in grade 4 you'll use all the numbers, but occasionally there's some that you will get that are not useful. Okay, so I'm going to set it up in the column subtraction way that we learned. 4 minus 5 I can't do, I've got to borrow. 11 minus 5, sorry, 14 minus 5 is 9. 1 minus 4 I can't do, I've got to borrow. 11 minus 4 is 7. So that means they've been to 79 games. Okay, let's have a look at the one about Melissa. So Melissa's parents obviously pay her to do chores at home. That's nice of them. So Melissa spent 8 hours. That's like a whole day. That's like from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. That's a long time with no breaks. Anyway, Melissa spent 8 hours doing chores at home. Her parents paid her or gave her 152. How much was she earning for each hour of work? So I'm going to draw it first. We have 152, and we need to share it out into those 8 hours. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're sharing it out into like that. And sharing is another one of those words. Just make this smaller. Sharing is another one of those words that means division. So we're actually dividing that. So I'm going to use my bus stop method that we learned in our last lesson. So I think this is number 6. Yeah, this is number 6. So we have 152, and we're sharing that between the 8 hours. That's our number sentence, first mark. You must just check with your teachers if they want you to write the answer there. If they do, it's easy enough to do. So just don't lose out just because I don't choose to put it there. Later on, don't be confused by this, but later on you'll put an X there. An X just means the answer in this case. It's the same as putting a box. So an X and a box are kind of like the same thing. So sometimes it'll be like that. But if your teacher wants you to put the answer there once you've worked it out, then just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to set this one out as the bus stop. 1, 5, 2. Does 8 go into 1? It certainly does not. Carry the 1. Does 8 fit into 15? It does, but doesn't fit exactly. So 8, 16. 16 was too many, so it goes in just once. We had 15. We used 8, which means we have 7 left. So we've got to give 7 over to the neighbor. I would normally do that in my head. I'm just putting my thinking on the page so you can see it. Now 8 into 72. This requires you to know your 8 times table. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Oh, nice and exact. So that's 9. All right. So, whoop, that was into there. So, oh, hang on. Yeah. So there we go. So that's 19. So that's our answer. That's our second mark. And we need to put it into a word sentence. So Melissa with a funny M gets 19 Rand an hour. And that's the third mark. Okie dokie. 2 questions to go. Let's actually do this one. Let's do it in that order. Right, so we've got 6 friends did a food collection drive. They collected 126 cans. If they each collected the same number, how many did they each collect? So again, this is one where we're sharing out. We've got the 126 cans and we're sharing it out into the 6 girls who brought. So that's another one of those division problems. So if we want to put it into division, we're going to say 126 divided by how many friends? There were 6 friends. There's our first mark. So setting it out with the bus stop again. 6 doesn't go into 1. Carry the 1 to the neighbor. 6 goes into 12 twice. 6, 12. 6 goes into 6 once. So they each of the 6 friends brought 21. So the second mark was for the 21. Each friend collected 21 cans. There we go, and that's the third mark. Okay, last problem that I've got here, I've got written down, is this one with Emma, Alessia, Holly, and Ava. I chose this one because there's a little bit more to it. Okay, so we've got 4 friends, and they're 4 amounts, and we want to find the total. So total is another one of those words that gives us a clue that it's going to be a plus. So we've got 58 plus 97 plus 76 plus 124 equals. And writing all that down gets us our first mark. Now you can do this mentally. You can use your BODMAS to go from left to right. But what you can also do when it's plus is to put them all into columns and then add it. So I'm going to do that. 58, 97, 76, and 124. And I'm going to add those together. So your mental arithmetic comes in. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 6 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So the 5 goes there and we carry the 2. 2 plus 5 gives me 7. 7 plus 9 gives me 16. 16 plus 9 gives me 23. 16 plus 7 gives me 23. Let me start there. 2 plus 5 gives me 7. 7 plus 9 gives me 16. 16 plus 7 gives me 23. 23 plus 2 gives me 25. And I carry my 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And so the answer then is 355. So if we're going to put that down at the bottom, I'm going to write all their names out. I'm going to just say the girls, because they're all girls. Actually, they're all girls I currently teach. That's where I get my names. Teachers are always doing that. They get names from things they know. So it was my niece and nephew earlier. These 4 girls are girls I teach. Some of the other names I've used are names of children I've taught in the past. The girls. Oh, no, we used the word pick. So the girls picked 355 strawberries all together. And if we want to give our marks for that, 1 for the question, 1 for the answer, 1 for the answer sentence. I've given you some in let me just write down one more, a little bit more complicated because it works BODMAS, because I've included a challenge question with BODMAS in your worksheet for today. So let me just pause the video while I write it down for you. Crystal is saving to go skydiving. Skydiving costs $1,000. Crystal has already got 397. If she wants to go skydiving in 9 weeks' time, how much must she save each week? So the first step we need to do is to work out how much she still needs. So she needs a total of 1,000, but she already has 397. So this will work out how much she still needs to get. Then we know that there are still 9 weeks and she needs to get that in 9 weeks. So we need to share out or divide the answer to that by 9, and then we'll find out how much she needs each week. So this is now a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more BODMAS. So we're going to do the first thing first. So we've got 1,000 minus 397. That's our first step. So we've got to borrow. So I'm going to borrow all the way across. Then I've got to borrow again, becomes 9. Borrow again becomes 9, 10. So 10 minus 3 is 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 9 is nothing. 9 minus 3 is 6. Naught minus. Okay, so she still needs 603. I should have done this working on the side. So what I'm going to now do is just carry on over here. So first thing I did was to work out this. So that was 603. And I'm going to leave my divided by 9 alone. I'm going to go back and do some more workings on the side. I'm going to do my bus stop, 603, 9. Very quickly, 9 doesn't go into 6. 9 does go into 60, but how many times? Goes in 6 times, which is 54 with 6 left over. 9 goes into 63 7 times. So she needs to get 67 Rand a week. So Crystal needs to save R67 a week. Okay, so that's just a little bit, oh, can't see that. That's just a little bit more complicated. But it's the same process. It's just put it, yeah. So there is a really difficult challenge one at the end, similar to this, but not quite the same. If that one looks really hard, give it a try. And if you can't manage it, that's okay. It's the sort that you'll get in grade 5. So don't worry if you can't do it yet. And then also just take a look at the memo and then you'll be able to work your way through it. That's all the problems that we're doing today. We've been through all our problems. Just a reminder, you want to email me, grade4@worksheetcloud.com. And after the lesson, click on the link that is above the video and do the worksheet, and good luck. This is probably the trickiest stuff that you get, is putting them in word problems. So I wish you all the best of luck. Grade 4s, have a fantastic day. I will see you again soon.